Looks, anything that they need.
I forgot to bring you a picture.
You got 8 minutes.
I was trying to get it before we sat down.
Oh, okay.
At the forum again.
So changes.
Yes. I would have to after the hearing. We could- and we don't have nothing about it. That's the case, then we're gonna have to call a special meeting on the. So we can make sure everybody's here, vote on it, so I
I
can.
think you just go to the next game. Yeah, just worry about the day that they decide.
Yeah. But this is, we gotta have it taken. By this day. I need a break. Okay?
Words are.
Okay, so this is three. What is this?
The 20.
There's no.
My daughter was
No way they
50.
can be misinterpreted. because
Hey.
The ordinance.
I know. How's that possible? 1 minute.
Especially contemporary, so the sheriff's for children. He has.
Yeah, that's what he made it very clear that I am, and you can. She's got. It's March 24th, 6:30 PM. Call the meeting to order. Before she does roll call, this meeting is being recorded by the little owl right there. Roll call.
Belkey,
Here.
Bennett,
Here.
Cornish. Farrell,
Here.
Stevenson,
Here.
Trinka,
Here.
Washington. Whitty.
Here.
Please join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America. To the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
approval of the omnibus agenda.
I'll say.
Okay.
Bennett,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Stevenson,
Yeah.
Trinka,
Yes.
Washington, Whitty,
Yes.
Belkey.
Yes.
At this time, it's time for the audience to make comments. The older persons or myself will not respond to you. You do have 5 minutes. If you choose to make a comment, please come up to the gate and state your name and your comment.
Hi, my name is Linda Ott, and I live on the alley. Well, actually, I work on the alley that was proposed to be a one-way alley. And I know it's not on the agenda tonight. I know nothing has been concrete, but we do want to get our objection on the record. We have a letter from every resident or business that butts up to the alley that we do not want it one way. There's a couple reasons. When it was really snowy, we couldn't get up it for 2 weeks. I don't know if there's a parking lot there, if that's gonna be better maintained, but we can't guarantee that, number one. Number two, within the last week, there have been 3 times I've not been able to go down there because there's been a truck unloading. Okay, so I had to come back the other direction. number 4, I think or 3, I think my trash man comes up that way. And then the other person at the very end, their driveway is at a slant down there. There would be almost no way for them to enter from the main drag, come down, and then they'd have to back up or they just really want to turn. So I'm just speaking on behalf of everybody who lives or has a business on that alley between, the 2 streets. So, did anybody want this?
Could you put it on the table there or? Thank you. I get up, but.
No problem. All right, that's it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone? No? Okay, at this time, it's the older persons. Any older person have a?
Yeah, I have something to say, Sherry. I'm just gonna throw this out here because, you know, we're gonna be switching administrations pretty soon. I think we need to come up with an attendance ordinance for older persons. And we need to come up with an annual performance review. I'm just throwing it out there, you know, it's nobody's really responsibility, I'm just throwing it out there.
What do you mean on attendance?
Where you're allowed so many absences without.
But that's not gonna work. People have jobs that require them to be there.
Okay, well, we'll see that, we'll put that in the ordinance probably, if we have one.
Charlie, was this an ordinance for Alderman?
If it ends up being an ordinance, I'm not sure if it's an ordinance or
And
not.
this-
George,
Charlie, in the new pay thing for all the persons, it only affects the 4 who are coming in April.
Okay, the 4 new ones.
Okay. But it could be applied to others. That one there, if we are not at a meeting, we don't get our compensation for that meeting. So there is a penalty on that. We cannot do an ordinance that says if you miss so many meetings, you can't hold office. That's the state statute doesn't allow that.
no, I'm saying you could be penalized.
Well, he will be penalized because we won't get paid.
That's
It's
what I'm
already
getting,
built in there.
that's what I'm getting at. I'm not trying to get rid of it.
I know, but just to let you know,
Okay.
it's already in the pay ordinance for new older persons. The 4 of us who are holding over for 2 years, it doesn't apply to us because you can't change our compensation. But for those 4, it will. So in 2 years, it'll apply to everybody. And if they're not at a meeting, you're gonna not get paid for that meeting.
But if those 4 don't go like for 2 months, they're still gonna get paid?
They
Yeah.
won't,
Oh, they,
they won't get paid.
They'll get paid if they're the old ones, if they're the new ones or re-elected ones.
The
they
4
will get-
people that it affects is Miss Washington, Pat, Trinka, and Mr. Bennett.
Whoever runs for Trinket's not running.
Right,
Doesn't matter.
right.
But whoever
That seat,
Whoever holds that seat.
yes.
will apply. The new ordinance will not apply.
as far as the performance eval, are we just talking about like the supervisors, the heads for a performance eval? You're
I
saying?
think probably the supervisors should evaluate the people under, the superintendents rather should evaluate the people underneath them.
Yes,
But then the superintendent gets evaluated by maybe the mayor or someone else, whatever.
but it'd be hard for the mayor to judge Penny, Cody. I think it would have to be somebody their subordinate level, like outside agency, maybe like somebody equivalent to Penny's job over in O'Fallon or Cody's job in O'Fallon somewhere.
Okay,
That's what I'm thinking. Not saying that the mayor couldn't do it, like, but she's not the subject matter expert when it comes to that field, I think, when it comes to. I see what you're saying, a performance evaluation.
I think that would be good for everybody. Not just the alderman.
Not the
No, we're not
alderman
talking aldermen, we're talking about
Supervisor.
supervisors.
And employees.
But the
Go
mayor
back to
is the
performance.
supervisor of the superintendents. She is the boss, she or he.
True.
I just threw that out there.
Yeah,
We can
no,
work out
yeah.
the detail.
Won't get hashed out tonight.
Okay, anybody else, any other alder persons have a comment? No? All right. Committee report, streets and alleys, Sean.
Hey.
What? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't,
Last week I was told that it came up about a shelter.
somebody, yeah, it was asked. But I believe, Mr. Bennett, somebody said that possibly the Pentecostal church might be able to be a shelter in case of severe weather. If you've got a basement, they don't have a basement, okay?
Well, I had already talked to Mr. Bennett about it. And, I had talked to various people in this town about it. I don't want these people to think that I'm overlooking it.
No,
Even on Facebook, I seen where they said the Methodist Church would be willing to house some people, but they didn't have cots and they couldn't feed them. This is the first I've heard of it. People can talk to keyboards, but they can't come up here and talk to the
Right.
council.
right,
And this is where it matters. So, I'll do some more research and see if we can't find.
I know
some-
you've checked a lot of places.
And, anybody else that have any comments about the council not finding a place for the homeless in Lebanon, contact me.
Okay, Sean, continue on.
I'm gonna have Cody come around because he could talk more about some of these, to discuss and approve the closing from West St. Louis to St. Clair to Route 4 and North Pearl from Center to the alley at South Pearl Street. Also, we all see it here, discuss, approve the closing of large city parking lot.
We'll
We'll just do the one at a time.
the number one and the number two are the same event.
Right.
So do that one, yes.
Go ahead, Cody.
So the first two, I'm gonna touch on a little bit here. So the West St. Louis to St. Clair, Route 4. I'm not for sure. I'm sure it was in my email if I didn't see it. The one I'm aware of is the Hillcrest. I'm not trying to jump here, so I'm not for sure what's the event coming up.
The event for the first two blocks of West St. Louis and then North Pearl to the alley just beyond the big parking lot. That is for a Firebird show. It's a 4-day show. Here, it's only 1 day. And I'll give you these papers that explain. It's from 5 until 9 p.m. There is a Looking Glass Playhouse that night, and that's why they're taking those two blocks only. But it's called the Firebird Fest, and they came to us. Jim Peer is familiar with it, and Carrie Chris. They didn't come to me, but that's who they came
So the
to.
100-200 block is my understanding.
Right, right. And then they're gonna use Pearl Street right there and the big parking lot. And so they're gonna use the whole area.
Same stuff applies. City barricades can go out, it's no problem. It's some of these events when we go to do it, then we get over by the out here so we can see. We do have city barricades that can go out. We are working on, I'm gonna make the new event people that are coming to town aware. It's very costly to replace a barricade or a cone. You can ask Penny. It's getting more and more expensive. Cones are running anywhere from $50 to $60 a piece because you have to have minimum heights reflective on it. We're gonna start billing for that. We set out 25 cones and 15 barricades and get back half. You're gonna get a bill. It's unfair to the taxpayers that they're spending money yearly. When I first started here, we had an abundance of cones, an abundance of all of our safety equipment, and every year we buy 10 to 12 more, 10 to 12 more. I'm not saying it's the car show's fault because people do walk off with them, but we can't keep using taxpayers' money to buy cones when the events aren't putting $100 in, or if they even put a deposit down. I don't know if we could do that, Mike. If that's something you could look into. Something that just kind of shows in good faith that if something gets taken, we have something to recoup our costs. That's only fair to the tax people that aren't coming up to their car shows or whatever. The Hillcrest closing, the Lebanon Fire Department has requested for closing of Monroe from Hillcrest all the way down to Parkview. You will still be able to make a left on Hillcrest, or Clover, I'm sorry, to go up, to go around. You have to go over 2 blocks. The Horner runs across the top of the 3 streets, so we call them the drives, as people reference them in town. they're gonna test all their fire hose. It's annual testing, it's NFPA standard stuff that has to get done every year. And if they can get that much room, they're gonna be that much quicker. I think it's a couple hours, so they should be in and out pretty quick.
I thought it was from 8 to 4:30.
It could be, but as long as the hose gets in and tested and moved, and we have a good amount of volunteers coming up, taking days off of work to do this, and we should be able to get that knocked out pretty
And
quick.
that's tomorrow,
Correct.
tomorrow.
That's all I have for that.
Okay, thank you. So you can vote on 1 and 2 and then go to 3.
I recommend we approve everything that Cody was just talking about, 1 and 2. And, there's another email here for the closing of Hillcrest Drive.
A separate motion.
Oh.
Make a motion to vote on 1 and 2, and then,
I make a motion that we vote on items 1 and 2.
right,
Second,
okay, Linda got 2, let's. Roll call.
Farrell,
yes,
Stevenson,
Yes.
Trinka,
Yes,
Yes.
Washington, Whitty,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Now 3.
Now 3, we're gonna discuss the closing of Hillcrest on Friday for Halloween 2025 from 5:30 to 8:30. So it's basically, can you please request the close of Hillcrest Drive on Halloween on this April Street and Alley Committee agenda? It's the same thing it's always been for Halloween.
They're very heavy into Halloween
Yes.
at Hillcrest.
So I recommend we approve.
I'm sorry,
What is April Street?
It's going quick.
I read off the sheet that was on our desk. I don't think April Street's right.
Alton,
Alton,
Alton.
yeah.
between Alton and Monroe.
So we just need Halloween. Hillcrest Halloween. 5:30 to 8:30.
who, did you motion?
Yeah, he did.
I'll second it, unless somebody did.
Fred?
Roll
My
call.
only concern
Oh.
is, what if we start getting these requests all along the area to close various streets for Halloween?
Hillcrest seems to be the only one that people travel to.
I'm not
So-
opposed to it, I'm just saying, we're gonna have to look down, look to the future in the event that we have other requests for closure of streets for this very.
We used to have D Street solid close
Yeah,
and nobody ever did anything with that, so. I think more people travel to Hillcrest to participate in their Halloweening.
so they
Then,
organize their neighborhood, so. That's a great idea, but we have to consider what are we gonna do in the future, but I'm for this.
worry about the future when it gets here.
Streets to be closed on-
I'm sorry,
I've never known any streets to be closed on Halloween.
not on Halloween. They used to always have a block party on West D.
They did?
Mhm.
Yeah, been to it,
They had a band, yeah.
donated brats and all that.
It must have been up pretty hard.
Well, go ahead.
First block,
We're gonna roll call.
Yeah,
Stevenson,
You're, yes.
Trinka,
Yeah.
Washington,
No.
Whitty,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Farrell.
yes,
anything else for streets now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Finance, Charlie,
Nothing for tonight. We meet April 21st at 6:30.
okay, ordinance, George,
meeting on April 7th at 6:30. Do you want to move forward discussing and approving the deduct meter ordinance?
deduct meters.
Yeah,
I was just gonna throw one thing out there, George. I received an email from one person that was in favor of that.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I would defer to Penny on this,
Yeah,
for sure.
So
we just need to hold off on it a little bit. There was some concerns about the, how it met with our statutes and some things that might need to be changed. So going off of Muscuta's ordinance and Belleville's ordinance, there are just some changes that need to be taken into consideration and looked into a little farther to make sure they're gonna meet with what our ordinance allows. So we couldn't push that through in the day and a half since I talked to,
Right,
so.
well, I'm suggesting that we go through it in depth, study it, go through it in depth on the April 7th meeting.
Well, that's why it says discuss and approve the ideas.
Right.
We're not actually doing the ordinance because I know it was,
This
there's
has been
problems
written
with
by
it.
one.
So we're not discussing anything at
We
this
can
point.
discuss it.
They can discuss it. But it kinda like-
They have are good, but
Yeah. well,
they have to be modified significantly to fit our needs in the water department.
Okay, anything else?
I have nothing else.
Okay. Water and sewer, Pat?
Nothing.
Okay. Cemetery, Mr. Trinko?
We will be discussing the cemetery ordinances, and if you don't have copies of the past ordinances, you might get one so you can see what may need to be changed or eliminated.
Okay, you meet April 7th.
I put a copy of the present day ordinance in everybody's basket.
Anything else?
That's it.
Health and safety, Ms. Washington?
Well, we got a letter out to, MedStar, so we're just waiting for a response from them. And we'll be moving right along.
Okay.
What was the letter about?
And the damage in the back.
Oh, okay.
Anything else, Ms. Washington?
Yeah, I could think of some more stuff.
Anything else that's on the agenda? Okay. Okay, public property. Amber is not here. They meet April 7th. I did give her a copy of the current ambulance contract because the contract ends April 30th. So they'll want to, I believe you've got a copy, but I'll send you another one if you want.
It auto renews. You're talking about MedStar.
Yeah.
There's like a 9
I'm
month.
sorry, the library contract.
Oh,
Didn't you see that in my brain?
those are different things.
Right, well, yeah, we don't want a library, an ambulance going to a library. It's for the library contract that ends, and so Amber's got that. But things would have to be changed because we did change the price.
It's fine.
I'm sorry. Who has this now?
Amber has it, she's public property.
Okay, and what is she doing?
She's going to work on getting the contract for the library updated.
Okay, so that's gonna be you.
I believe we're just changing, the terms and conditions remain the same. I didn't hear any other changes. We're just changing the lease price, right? Yeah, that's simple.
Probably need to look at the maintenance agreement, I don't know what that is. To see what it says.
Do we have
When will it be given to the people at the library?
Well, I can't answer that, it's gonna be discussed under public property next Monday. Not next Monday, April 7th.
Would it be helpful to get, I don't have a PDF or a Word version of that.
I'll get, okay,
Helpful to put together a red line so that we can present it to the library board so they know what it is that we're changing and they can, because they'll have to approve a new contract anyway. That might be helpful. We can do that.
You probably would need to approve it no later than
the first meeting,
first meeting in April,
April.
because they'll.
because it expires April 30th.
Okay.
Let's see. The 14th is the,
First meeting,
council meeting.
right?
So it has to be ready by the 7th, so the committee can make the recommendation.
Right, right. Okay, I know of nothing else for public property. Personnel, Mr. Bennett,
With the personnel, April 21st, I think, says 2025.
Okay.
Question, personnel, where are we on the treasurer?
well, we have to get the list. But I guess that's gonna be talked about the first Monday, of
April
April.
7th.
yeah.
So the chances of having somebody ready to walk into the job on May 1st is pretty slim.
We can put personnel on,
Have we put anything in the paper yet?
We haven't
no,
done
we
anything.
talked, they talked about doing maybe on the website to see if we got any interest from the website before we put it in paper.
Can I ask a question? So like did something change in the write-up of that? Cause like, I know for like, so there's gonna be potentially vacant alderman seats. Zoning board, plan commission, all that, when it's mayor appointed. That we don't run an ad, that all those steps aren't done. Is there something that was changed in the wording of that recently that's making it to where there's so many steps? Cause ultimately the mayor's making that suggestion, right, to the council the same way those positions are made?
Well, because the treasurer is now appointed rather than elected, that's why those changes took place. I don't
And
know,
it's a paid position.
Okay, so since zoning board isn't paid and plan commission isn't paid, that's
no,
why it's not going through all the
Right.
same steps.
right, and we don't have anything on the plan commission, maybe one.
No,
No,
I suggest we put an ad in the paper. Both papers and on our website. To let the citizens know that these positions are open and they, you know,
the zoning board of
They
appeals.
need people to
definitely
fill
has
them.
some.
And the treasurer does have to live in the city.
So like so for example, like if George gets elected, right, then he has to, his alderman seat would then be up, right, be appointed.
Right,
So the alderman seat is a paid position, so are we
Right.
then gonna run for the alderman seat the same way in the paper and
No.
all
That's,
these?
that's
That's-
controlled by statute. The
Okay.
mayor gets to appoint, these are good questions. Some of these things are very strictly controlled by statutes. These positions get appointed by the mayor. If a council seat opens up, there are very specific ways that it goes through. There's, I think they have basically an opportunity to have an appointment voted on, an opportunity to have an appointment voted on, and then the third appointment goes through no matter what, so you can't basically shut down government. There's all kinds of rules, but these are very good questions, and each one of these positions has kind of a different set of rules.
Okay, so the treasurer is not directly appointed like that same process, it's gonna go through,
they have qualifications,
okay,
Yeah,
And
I
that
think
is
we
a
just
paid-
amended all that, did we not,
yeah.
recently?
yes.
Right.
Right.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
Luann, if you put that in a newspaper, how long is it gonna run? I mean, it has to be done pretty quick.
Okay, so, you guys tell me when you want it, and it can be in, like, tonight, I have to put a notice in for Wednesday, but this is a little bit more time consuming to get all this stuff, so I would say I could probably get it in on the 2nd of April, the paper. Well, to either paper or all papers,
And just run it for a week or 2 weeks or what?
whatever you guys want.
Why not 2 weeks? 2 weeks?
Yeah.
You want them in on the April 2nd?
Yeah.
And,
One is not sufficient, I think at
Okay.
least two.
okay, 2 weeks.
Treasurer.
Okay, 2 weeks for the treasurer.
Is that on our website as well?
Well, yeah, I'll ask Stephanie to put it on there. What other ones do you want? We can't really do any of these until later,
Yeah.
so.
Was it two papers they were saying? Was that Harold and?
And,
Bell
Weekly.
Maker.
Those are only two you brought in?
That's the only two papers.
You don't go outside the area?
Well, one's in O'Fallon, one's in Muscuda.
well, the treasurer has to live here.
We need
Oh,
to have,
okay.
yeah, and we have to publish in the papers that are approved for us.
Yeah.
That's also.
Technically hometown, but we don't have a hometown anymore, so. I mean, you could even vote to make Belleville paper your
Yeah.
hometown paper. It's a lot more expensive and it
You don't wanna do
doesn't,
that, that's so
It's-
expensive.
it's very expensive and
It's not even.
The term is a paper of general jurisdiction
Yeah.
within your community, so.
And maybe we put a sign up on the glass here or something.
Anything else for personnel, Mr. Bennett? Luann's obviously got something. No?
slipped my mind. Okay, when I've talked to Mr. Trink about this, we had a, call from a state office for cemeteries. And according to something that was supposed to be done in 2010, I am now in a crunch to get everything done. They've given me 30 days. And luckily, my cohorts have picked up a little of the helping me with my job because there's a lot of work that has to be done. So I just want everybody to know that we have a lot of work to do and everybody up here is pulling together to get it done. If we don't get it done in 30 days, he says, just keep him in contact with him and he will extend another 30 days. So,
What is it?
pardon?
What is it that needs to be done?
Well, according to that, new law passed back then, the city was supposed to be registered that cemetery with 2 separate places in Springfield, and they didn't. And so everything from 2010, I have to go and create files on all of it. So every burial has to be created. Thank goodness we have a lot of it, but even the paperwork on it has to be created. So there's certain things that need to be on there and I'm making a spreadsheet and we're going through and I've been working on that, so.
So Luann, what happens if you can't get it done in the time that you have left in your term?
It goes to the next person. And I plan on advising them what I've been doing and how I've been doing it. And, you know, if you need help, you have to.
And Luann,
keep on
there's-
working. I don't know.
There's no way that we can grandfather any part of that in,
No,
What do we do?
no, they
Which would seem
definitely
like-
said,
which would seem logical, because you didn't start till 2017.
right, right,
7 years later, you came on the screen, and now you have to bear the brunt
yes.
of the person ahead of you not doing it. That's sad.
Anything else for the clerk?
That's enough.
That's enough. Treasurer Larry?
Present the preliminary budget for approval and set the public hearing for April 7th at 6:30 PM with the committee meeting on the hearing. As the preliminary budget for fiscal year 25-26.
Will we have an opportunity to meet with you and go over this?
Yeah, you can meet with me.
I mean, would you be here, let's just say, Tuesday
I can
morning
meet with you.
sometime?
I can meet with you whenever you want me to. So we can discuss it and we'll meet. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, you have to schedule it. He's not an in-office person, so you have to schedule it. And
I'll-
set it up with him.
I'll get with you though.
thank,
So now you got number two.
Oh, yes, number two, discuss and approve the date for the vote on the final budget.
Or no, I
Okay,
guess
we're
we
gonna
have to
Do the first one.
do the first one, I'm sorry.
I don't, this is what I'm talking. So, yeah, so we still present the preliminary budget, which I believe you guys have hopefully received in your email a couple times, but then,
I gave him a hard copy tonight.
yeah, Luann gave you guys the final copy, well, the copy of the preliminary budget.
Cause I got it on my computer, but I was unable to print it out.
So you got.
So you
Yeah.
have it here, so.
It's in.
And what this is that this is a preliminary budget. So that will be put on the counter starting tomorrow. For any public person that wants to come in and look at it. And then in 10 days. We'll have the public hearing, minimum of 10 days, so I think we're on the 11 or 12, aren't we, or something like that? And so on the 7th, you have a hearing on the budget that the public can come to. And then voice their opinion if they've come in and looked at it. And then that night, you can, if there's no changes. Then it's accepted as is and you guys vote on it and then we can put the certification on it and I can get it to the courthouse. If not. Approved that night and we have some tweaks to do. Then on the 14th. We'll have to vote on it. And. I take it to the courthouse.
So we have a special meeting on the 14th.
Well,
No.
no, that's our regular one.
That's our regular one.
That's right.
The 7th is a
7th
committee.
And I believe at the hearing for the budget with everybody here. Do I have to mark that as a special special meeting? It's already a special hearing, so I didn't know.
Not as, it's a public hearing, right?
Yes,
Yeah. So I mean, is that during your committee?
that's right before the committee.
Yeah, so you would mark that as that's a public hearing
Right,
for the budget. Then you can do that before
if they want to vote on that, that night?
no, you gotta
Okay.
put that in a council meeting, but I would strongly encourage everybody to get.
So on the 14th, will be a council meeting, so that's when we vote on it.
Yeah, and it needs to get voted on, and so if there are tweaks or changes between now, well, tomorrow or whenever, and then you guys need to make sure that it's ready to go on the 14th, because it needs to get approved, so she has time to get it.
So can we
Yeah.
push for like his number two, approve the date? Can it just be the 14th? Or do we need to?
Number 2, you're talking about. okay.
Number 2, we're gonna
Discuss
roll
approve
right
date
into
for
it.
the final vote.
Second
Yeah,
page.
Just going off what he just said.
that'll be on the 14th.
Right.
Let's just get it.
As printed, is this a balanced budget?
Who knows?
Well, I mean, the figures are
Go
here.
ahead. It's in the black,
Balanced budget.
barely, but it's in the black.
Essentially, it's a balanced budget.
Yeah,
I would move approval of the preliminary budget.
I'll second.
okay, 1, George, 2, three.
Roll call.
Okay,
We'll still be able to get with.
Yeah,
you,
absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
absolutely.
Trinka,
Yes,
Washington,
Yes.
Whitty,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes,
Stevenson.
Yeah.
And number 2, we're gonna discuss and approve the day, which I believe we want April 14th
Right,
as the vote on the final budget.
I move that we set April 14th as the final vote on the budget for fiscal year 26.
Second.
Roll call.
Washington,
Yes.
Whitty,
Yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Cornish. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't have my line down there. Farrell,
Yes,
Stevenson.
Yeah.
Anything else,
What
Larry?
about me?
Can
Oh,
I say one thing
Ringo.
about the,
You can say his name, so.
oh,
You can say his name, so.
oh, Trinka, yes, that's right.
Yes.
Okay, one thing about this, I want everybody to look at page 16, 17, and 18. And this is a perfect example of, just because we ask for money does not mean that we get the money. I know everybody voted for a 3.5 or something increase. Doesn't mean we're gonna get it. As you can see in the first column up here, we asked for $245,000 last year in the budget. We only got 209. That's what the county sends us. So we're not guaranteed to get that money. It's whatever our tax base and everybody's taxes, what they figure out, that's what we get. We don't get any more and we don't get any less. Okay, so that right there, we went down. That's why when we have things like the 1% grocery tax that the state took away from us, and we're still sitting here months later, not increasing what we were allowed to increase by 1%. That's why by the very end amount, our projected revenues are down $375. I mean, $375,000. Okay? Because Larry and I, we went through every one of these and we tried and tried and tried to get enough money to cover this budget that you guys, everybody needs to do. The only reason why we are okay is because Penny's got some projects and she's moving money over to cover all of them. So, and that's on the front page. That's what this is all about. On the side over here, you see what we're below. 982,000 in the red, but she's moving over 985,000 over. So she's taking care of her over thing. Okay. So I just want you for future, you know, you've got to really look at what we actually get in revenue, not what we've asked for.
Still have time to vote on the grocery tax. But
Yeah.
it's running out.
And we're running out.
Right, that needs to be done in this couple of months.
So that should be on the next agenda.
1% sales tax on groceries, there's an official term for it.
Yeah.
Basically, we're not increasing the taxes, we're replacing it.
Yes. It's kind of like when the state took away personal property tax and they replaced it with this replacement tax, which we call PPRT, personal property replacement tax. The state took the personal property tax away from each of the cities, and I guess put it in a lump sum, and then they turned around and said, oh, I guess you need some of that. And they give us some I think it's every quarter.
Yeah.
It is.
And then we take it and then we give a certain percent to the library because when it first happened, they were under us and the state won't let us not get rid of them and have them do their own. We have to do that part. So these are lots of little things that.
So that 950 came from that $2 million fund or account we have?
Need.
No,
I thought that's what Penny had said one time.
No,
Penny's answering you.
no, I don't know about 900,000, but I
No.
know that in the last 2 years' budgets, I've planned to have money in there, $100,000 each year, knowing that a couple of projects were coming up. So in the 23-24 budget, there was $100,000 for Hunter Street.
Yes.
In the 24-25 budget, there was $100,000 for Hunter Street. Same with this budget, another 100,000, because that project will be done this year. So we can't come up with $300,000 in 1 year's budget, so therefore it's planned ahead. Have that there and carry it over each year to do that. And same with the water budget. Herman Street grant is coming up for the street. And we know there's an old water line underneath there. It's what we applied for the grant from CDBG for. And same with that money, we planned $100,000 for it this year, knowing that it's not going to happen until the next budget. So there'll be 200,000 to go to that project. So when you're looking at the budget, it looks like we've really got a lot of money sitting there that's coming from this year's budget, but we've been under budget $100,000 each year planning to get there.
I just remembered hearing 2 million mentioned.
There was somebody up there mentioning $2 million and I don't know who that was.
And that's why, I think Michelle talks about stuff coming from the utility tax and the non-home rule and all that. You'll also see, I think it's on this one also, how that, is being, we've dedicated some of that money for projects that we have committed to IDOT and other places that for certain grants, when they say you need 80,000 to cover this part, we have to have that ready to go. You can't say, well, use that on something else. We're not using it this year. No. If they start the grant 2 years late, you better have your money ready to go. So that's all things that are.
And a lot of the revenue in the non-home rural community is limited as to what it can be spent on. So it's not like at your house where you just have a checking account, you can just spend it on whatever it is that you want. Some of these funds are very much locked in. You can't use this fund to pay for this over here.
Yeah. So, all things to
Well, we won't be
think
buying
about.
any trucks or anything for a while.
Well, I don't think there's none of them in the budget, so. So we won't do that. Okay, so that was my spiel, because I'm gonna be gone.
You got 2 more minutes with me. With me. And do you have any more else?
No, I think that's it.
You think that's it? Okay.
We covered it.
For the mayor, I have a, sort of a sad, darn it, statement that we did not win, or we were not awarded the downtown Brick Street. It wasn't to do the Brick Street, but it was to do everything around the rehabbing of the downtown area. We were not honored that. We were not awarded that grant. So, we'll go onward and upward. We have quite a few grants still that we've been planning on. And, we'll keep looking, well, someone after me will keep looking for the grant, to do something with the downtown area. So,
And I think we've had a total almost 8 grants in the last
yeah,
years,
we'll go through.
and all these are contingent on, the money that we have to save for them, so.
So we have to be careful what we wish for, because we're gonna tie up that amount of money.
Correct.
Yeah, we tie up that
But we've
wind.
already obligated it, so we have to.
Right, so we gotta be careful about it.
Oh, it's being watched. Don't you worry about that.
I hope so.
Oh, yes, sir, it is. Okay. Department heads, chief,
I have nothing this evening.
Cody,
No
sure.
reports this evening.
I'm sorry.
No reports this evening.
Okay, thank you. Water Penny?
I had a conversation with Bobby Davis concerning the Northtown Power. He said he was gonna send you, Charlie, a statement, did he?
No, he didn't give it to me.
Okay, well, basically what, our conversation was about was, could we somehow reroute power in town because a lot of the people out there always see the rest of the town has power, Northtown does not. So in that conversation, said they cannot reroute power, but there is a new planned substation, which we did talk a little bit about, last Monday. And part of that, putting that substation out there is then to get Northtown's power in town. But he has no date. There is no, they haven't even given him a date as to when that would happen, but there is vision for having Northtown powered in town on the new substation. So just wanted to pass that forward.
That new substation's the one being built, going to be built behind the Lutheran church?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire hall.
In between the
Somewhere in
Lutheran
between
and
there,
fire
yeah.
hall.
Right.
Correct.
Otherwise, where's that power come from? Doesn't it
The
come
power-
from Fallon?
The power comes from O'Fallon and it is a different, I don't know what to say, but there's a different amount of power that comes in on the O'Fallon lines that comes from the town. So there's not a way to reroute that and keep it in town.
Anything else?
No, I think that's good.
Okay, thank you. You can't sit behind that pole next time. Okay, unfinished business. Discuss and approve the addition to the enterprise zone information, including certification, IGA amendment, and ordinance.
That was, everybody get them?
You got a map.
No, there is one.
We actually approved this a couple of years ago,
Yeah, this is,
This is a new addition.
no addition. I know. Well, we approved the process, because we had to go,
right.
Right.
when I was mayor pro tem, I attended the meeting for the,
But because we added it, we still have to.
This is what was sent to us by Moran,
Right.
and I gave
Right.
copies of, it's attached.
Yeah.
So we have to approve that,
What is
the
that?
ordinance?
I missed it.
Under unfinished business, item
Yeah.
number 1.
Yeah, I'm just curious, does he know about that? The people that own the property?
oh yeah, this is all,
There's nothing.
there's a map there. We started this, we were really pushing for this to get completed when the plans were to have the sports park there. That was part of that deal. The mayors were all in favor of it. I met with the other representatives from the other cities, and they're very much in favor of moving forward with this.
Right.
Now, this is an incentive for people to come and build
Like this.
Enterprise,
businesses.
enterprise zones will
Yeah.
allow for someone who's spending money in the enterprise zone. Usually it will abate the sales tax on any of the materials that they're buying for the construction. And also there can be some property tax abatement. All this stuff runs through the county pretty much, where all we're really doing is saying, here's new territory for these activities and these incentives to be available.
Right.
But this does not include any of Lebanon,
Oh, yeah,
It's all in
not according to
Lebanon.
the map.
It's
Oh,
in
yeah.
Lebanon.
it's all in Lebanon. The map includes, the map you have is the entire enterprise zone,
That's, you know,
which includes about 6, 7 communities.
yeah, the enterprise zone, the area that we are doing is just in, it's in.
Oh, I just got the map here that came with the email.
This runs behind IGA, Ace Hardware,
50,
all the way to
that red area.
Belleville Cutoff, across the street. So that whole area. Now, it doesn't mean that there's gonna be building right away, but it's gonna be like, the farmers, they're gonna be, they gave their permission.
I'm surprised.
So-
It's printed out for me.
If they ever sell and somebody wants to build in there, they,
It takes time to get it, so now we've got it.
yeah, because we started this enterprise zone when the sports complex first
Right.
talked to us, and it was like early
That was
twenty
one of our,
twenty-four, like May. And it's taken all this time to get it through, so.
The hard part was the first meeting of all the cities together.
Yeah.
The first.
And then I didn't get that
Allowed
done
to
this
move
this right here.
I've got another one, Mr. So I need a motion and a second.
I'll move that we approve
I'll
the
second.
enterprise zone information in the contract, the resolution and the ordinance.
Charles.
I'll second it.
I got you. You ready? Wait,
Yeah, yes, yes.
Belkey,
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes,
Stevenson,
Yeah.
Trinka,
You showed me a new map, yes.
I'll give you, there's one of my.
Washington.
Okay, number two, discuss and approve the TIF number 2 contract with Moran and the resolution.
move that,
We enlarged the TIF area.
right.
We have a contract with Moran,
For TIF
so
two.
they do everything.
TIF two.
Yeah.
TIF 2,
Lift.
it's a second TIF.
We had tip one, then we amended tip one. Made
And
it
we
big.
have TIF 2.
Now we have tip two.
Well, if you vote on it.
Right.
Okay, I've got a motion by George.
I'll second.
Wait, okay. Any discussion?
Hmm?
Any discussion?
Any discussion? No? Roll call.
Belkey,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes,
Stevenson,
Yeah.
Washington,
Yeah.
Whitty.
Yes.
Somebody.
That's it.
New. New
Yes.
business. Drink up. You didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Right?
You just marked him out.
Marking out.
Out. Okay, new business. Anybody have any new business? Motion for adjournment.
I move adjournment by voice vote.
Ms. Washington, do you want to go home?
Yeah. No, I think it's good.
Okay.
One in Washington. All in favor, signify by saying aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay.
Keep your thoughts to yourself. Let me get you a map, Mr.